What could bring the mightiest warrior of Greece to his knees more surely than any spear or arrow? For Achilles, invincible, fearless, the answer was not in any weapon, but in heartbreak. On the blood-soaked plains of Troy, Achilles screamed in agony as he cradled the lifeless body of his dearest companion, Patroclus. In that moment, the legend of Achilles changed forever. It became not just a tale of rage and glory, but a story of love and loss. Years earlier, long before tragedy struck, Achilles and Patroclus met in the kingdom of Phthia. Achilles was a young demigod prince, raised by King Peleus and the sea goddess Thetis, destined for eternal glory. Patroclus was an exiled youth seeking refuge, gentle in spirit and loyal at heart. Training side by side, the two boys became inseparable. Achilles, fierce and proud with others, found comfort and understanding in Patroclus's companionship. Friend, brother, lover, labels meant little. What mattered was their unbreakable bond. Years passed and the Trojan War erupted. Achilles led his warriors, the Myrmidons, and for a time he was the Greeks' unstoppable champion. But when King Agamemnon dishonored him, the proud Achilles refused to fight. Without Achilles, the tide turned in Troy's favor. Patroclus watched the Greek army bleed and morale crumble. He saw beyond Achilles' pride and feared for their people. Something had to be done. One evening, as battle raged, Patroclus approached Achilles with a desperate plea. "Let me fight in your place," he urged. "Lend me your armor. The Trojans will think Achilles himself has returned." Achilles' heart clenched. If Patroclus fell, it would shatter him. After agonizing moments, Achilles nodded and clasped Patroclus's hand. He placed his famed armor onto Patroclus's shoulders. "Promise me you'll return." Patroclus gave a reassuring smile. Neither man knew it would be their last moment together. Clad in Achilles' armor, Patroclus charged into battle at the head of the Myrmidons. The Trojans panicked, believing Achilles had returned, and the Greeks rallied behind the armor's gleam. Patroclus drove the enemy back from the ships, saving the Greek fleet from flames. In the flush of victory, he pushed onward, chasing the Trojans all the way to the gates of Troy. Little did he know, fate was waiting for him at those gates. Apollo, god of the sun, struck Patroclus from behind, knocking away his helmet. Stunned, Patroclus faced Hector, Troy's greatest warrior, not as Achilles, but as himself. Hector lunged and plunged his spear through Patroclus's chest. The young hero collapsed to the earth. With his final breath, he whispered Achilles' name. Patroclus was dead. When Achilles learned that Patroclus was dead, his world shattered. He fell to the ground, tearing at his hair and clothes in anguish. The great warrior's cry turned into a raw animal howl, a sound that echoed across the shore and silenced all around him. The mighty Achilles, who feared nothing, was now broken by the loss of the one he loved most. Grief boiled into wrath. Achilles swore that Hector would pay with his life. He knew avenging Patroclus would fulfill a grim prophecy of his own death, but Achilles no longer cared. Donning divine armor, he stormed back into battle like an avenging god. Achilles cut through the Trojan ranks until he faced Hector beneath the walls of Troy. In a furious duel, Achilles struck Hector down. He showed no mercy, even dragging Hector's body behind his chariot in a brutal display of sorrow and rage. Soon after, Achilles met his own fate, struck down by a Trojan arrow. Legend claims it hit his heel, his one weak spot. But perhaps Achilles' true weakness was the love he bore Patroclus, a wound no armor could protect. Their story did not end on the battlefield. For thousands of years, the tale of Achilles and Patroclus has endured as a symbol of loyalty and love amid war. Ancient Greeks revered their bond, celebrating it as a love story. Homer's epic never states it outright, but Achilles' sorrow speaks volumes. Was it friendship or was it love? Perhaps it was both, two souls bound together beyond death. Achilles' rage and grief remind us that even the mightiest hero had a heart that could break. What do you think? Was Achilles' wrath driven by pride or by the pain of losing Patroclus? Let us know your thoughts. This legendary romance invites us to reflect on the power of love, loyalty, and sacrifice.